Okay, well, I have that we are four after. So anybody who is made, oh, Christina's here. Welcome, Christina. Let me make you a co-host too. And Christina and Alex, Malia, if you want to watch for other people who join and let them in, that'd be great. And monitor the chat. And you're all welcome to ask questions in the chat along the way. We've carved out time at the end for questions. And so we will monitor them along the way and take them at the end. And then I'll do more introductions and all after Tracy kicks us off. She's one of the leaders of KC Game Plan. And so Tracy, I turn it over to you to
Okay,
do the intro for us.
great. Well, thank you all for taking the time to be here today and to the team that's hosting this. Um, we've pulled together this collaborative to bring trainings to largely the small business community, especially in those visitor-facing sectors, to help them identify what the opportunities are and provide information and resources to help them pursue those opportunities. So I'm delighted to say we are right now going to be posting a total of 24 additional sessions between now and the end of April, and even more beyond that. So keep an eye on our website and the Casey SourceLink calendar. But I'm going to be really brief because I don't want to cut into the time, the valuable time with the team here today and the things that they can share to help you get operationally and brand ready for the World Cup using really smart AI tools. So I just want to give a bit of an overview and an update on all things related to the World Cup, and then turn it over to them. So we are just 107 days to go until the kickoff of the World Cup 2026 on June 11th. So definitely feeling the pressure and the energy, but confident that we'll continue to be the best host city in the World Cup in 2026. As you all know, this is the world's largest sporting event. We have a board member that says it's the largest event in the history of humankind, which sounds like hyperbole, but it isn't.
Wow.
And the 2026 tournament is going to be even bigger than before because it's an expanded format, moving from 32 to 48 matches. It is taking place in the US, which just means it just has more energy, momentum, more attendees. 1994 World Cup, which was last hosted in the US, still holds the record for the most tickets ever sold. So in Qatar in 2022, they recorded about 3.5 billion viewers of the World Cup. And this time they're talking about projections of 5 billion. And that's all to say it's a globally significant moment for our entire region because the eyes will be on us like never before. And if you've been following the headlines and the final draw and team base camp announcements, you know it really is a global soccer celebration. Through the group stage matches alone, we have 7 countries, 4 continents represented, 8 countries if you count England, who's base camping here, although they won't be competing here in the group stage matches. And we have this enormous privilege of being right in the heart of the tournament. And that's really strategically relevant. I think that while we talk a lot about international visitors, because it's a bit more unusual and novel for us to see that kind of influx, because of our location, because there's so much interest in the US, we are going to have a lot of domestic visitors as well. And they'll be easily able to get here by car, by flight, by train, and participate, whether they have match tickets or not, because we have a free fan festival. And that will be the opportunity to engage and be a part of this once in a lifetime experience. So don't underestimate our domestic travelers. Their money spends the same and probably more familiar to you, but we're going to be seeing a lot of those. team base camps, you've heard about it. It's really extraordinary. We only had 3 in the brochure, but England wanted to be here so badly, they continued to press to find a location. So Swope Park is where they'll be. And while they're not competing here in the group stage matches, they love the location, they love the facilities, and they love the way we showed them that we wanted them more than anyone else. So this really just is a whole different level of engagement. There will be more to come. I do want to kind of set expectations, especially with small business. There have been a lot of questions coming to us about opportunities at base camp. And I will say these are not festival sites. They are places where the teams are coming to be very disciplined, working hard to win the competition. And so there may be a community, they are obligated to host a community engagement event, and some are more likely to engage multiple times, but that's kind of team specific. There'll be more news coming, but these aren't like festival sites, food truck locations, and that it really is the place where they're coming to be very focused on training and winning. So just a few things as we start to think about the vibe and the stories and the messages as a region, and as you as business owners can help tell, we want to show the world that this is a place with tremendous momentum, regardless of the World Cup. There's so many amazing things happening here that make this a great place to want to work, live, and visit, and we want to own that. We want to show them that 𝗕𝗂𝘀𝗀𝗲𝗏 heart symbol is more than a symbol. It really represents the warmth, the unity across the region. That's what's made us unstoppable in terms of getting a host city bid and being a host city and doing it at the level that we plan to. And we want to show that, we are rooted in sport. They're coming here because of their passion for the game of football, soccer, however you call it. And so making sure that you all understand and are knowledgeable about the level of investment that's gone into making this the soccer capital of America and showing your pride in all of our teams really will help put us on the map as a hub for sports innovation. And as 𝗕𝗂𝘀𝗀𝗃 2026, who's responsible for transportation, security, 𝗕𝗲𝗴𝗃 Fan Festival, the community engagement programs, the small business program, as we're talking to visitors at every touch point, there are 3 things we want to get across. And I share these with you because you can be thinking about how you might message this or make it part of the experience you offer, because we all are on this world stage together. We want to make visitors feel like they are a part of Kansas City while they're here, make them feel a sense of belonging, make their experience warm, personal, and be here to celebrate their football culture while they're here. We want to make it easy for them to access and navigate the region. So anything you can do to provide information tips, make it easy for them to get around, to get information, to discover new places, understand the Connect KC 26 transportation system. There's going to be a lot more coming, but you can find that on our website. And then, show your belief in this place. We want them to leave when they go home feeling like they had an amazing experience and that they need to get back here, that they believe this is a place their friends and family should visit, and believe that maybe if they're thinking about a change in their lives, a business expansion, a relocation, that Kansas City is in the consideration set. So do a brief summary of this soccer fan, this global soccer fan. This information comes to us from a number of sources, from FIFA to some global marketing companies, just so you can start to get your head wrapped around some of the things that may allow you to better connect to them. So a younger audience, although we'll see people of all ages, and knowing that, Hispanic fans are really probably the most passionate, engaged, and I'm not disparaging any other nation. They're all very, very passionate about it. But in research, that does kind of register high. Um, and we know that Argentinian fans will be here in large numbers. We know that our Mexican American and Mexican diaspora residents also are big fans of Argentina as well and will cheer them on. Those who are traveling here probably are a bit more affluent. They've had to buy a ticket, a flight, just a flight to get here, right? And that when they do the research, traveling, dining out are among their top passion. I think the most important thing is you think about them emotionally, psychographically, is they are here because celebrating, honoring their team, their nation is a community social event. They could sit at home and watch the World Cup without spending all that money, but they want to be here to be in community with others and cheer their teams on. So fostering those types of experiences, understanding that's really important. And of course, digital natives, that'll come up. That's why we're providing a lot of digital marketing sessions beyond this. And so Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, video, a lot of video, and WhatsApp as well. I've been dealing with a lot of consulates and embassy ministers. They don't address emails very quickly. They don't respond to texts, but my gosh, I send a WhatsApp and they're immediately respond. They are so dialed into WhatsApp. It is their instant messaging platform of choice for sure. And how will they spend their time in Kansas City? We know that between matches, between being at FanFest, they're going to want to get out and explore the city and the region, and not to go, explore necessarily where there are Austrian restaurants or Argentinian. They're here because they want to experience what's unique and authentic to Kansas City. And luckily, we've got that all in spades. So lean into those things. We've already talked about the regional draw. And then, the whole experience, if you think about the age group of this, what can you do to make their interaction with your business or service an experience that they can really enjoy, connect with, and share on social, of course. So a bit about 𝗘𝘀𝗀𝗲𝗃 Game Plan. Here's a QR code. If you haven't checked it out, a lot of resources, a lot of business opportunities that we post there. Any RFI or RFP over 15,000 is posted there. There's a great readiness assessment. The calendar continues to be built out with no-cost training sessions, and that comes because of people like this team here contributing their time to make and their expertise to make sure you have new information, new tools you can use. So I can't thank them enough. So a lot more coming. Continue, bookmark this, check it out often. And then I'll leave you with one word of caution before I hand it over, and that is 𝗕𝗲𝗴𝗶 and marketing. So this is probably the trickiest thing to navigate, but it is one of our host city obligations that we have to protect you and protect 𝗕𝗲 from misuse of the IP. So I would just say, as a rule of thumb, do not use FIFA World Cup, or World Cup in any way in your marketing, in your promotions, and your content, or any of the emblems. Our game plan playbook has all this spelled out. I'd also download the community playbook. It's got more in there. But lean into those more general soccer themes, like celebrating beautiful game, global soccer, welcoming global visitors. Go crazy with that. Generic images. You can talk about Argentina versus Algeria and use their national flags and colors if you're going to be promoting your association with one of the matches or welcoming those teams. So anyway, really, those tools are there. You can download these on the website, and I'd spend some time there. With that, I will hand it off. I am going to have to leave to go to another meeting, but thank you, thank you. And if you have questions in the chat, we will follow up with answers to those, and enjoy your time. Thank you, Kelly, Alex, Kristina, Fiona, and Malia. I'm sorry if I've missed anyone, but enjoy your time together. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, that was great information. Thanks, Tracy.
Okay.
So exciting to hear the update. Thank you. And the reminder of so many people coming and what they're looking for when they come to our beloved city. I'm going to start our slideshow. Let me share. Are you seeing the slides?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I need to see. I want to see them too. Okay, there we go. Now I can see too. So I just want to do let everybody know the quick agenda for the rest of our time together. So Tracy just did part one. I'll do a brief overview of Gen AI, just a brief introduction. And then Alex will take that brief and share some demos. And then Malia is going to workshop with you so you can leave here with a quick win or two and actually practice and do something if you care to. And then we'll talk about AI ethics and security. So I'm sure that will be dropped in along the way, but we will have a special section for that for the end. And then we thought for this part, we would take maybe an hour and go through pretty quickly, so then we can leave more time for questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat along the way, or write them down and save them for that time. And but no, we are open for questions, and we have a great panel here. Before we go into everything, I want to share a disclaimer. And we're training on AI, but we are going to share based on what we know and what our experiences are, and it's up to you to decide how to use it. So we are not responsible for what you choose to do or how you use it, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind, and you can glance through there. And I think that covers that. So Tracy did part one. I had the countries up there. So the objectives of this program are this panel came together purely out of generosity to help the small business community in Kansas City gear up for these soccer fans to come, so you can capitalize on it. We want you to feel confident that you're able to adapt and compete and prepare for all these visitors. Communicate easily with the international visitors. Boost your visibility online. Obviously, this can help before the soccer event happens here. I'm trying to get used to not saying World Cup before that happens here and after. So you're going to learn things today you can use for a long time, and reclaim valuable time, because we know how busy you are, and we're all small business owners too. And then reduce the uncertainty and the stress by learning some practical tips and tools. So those are our objectives for the day. How does that sound to all of you? We get a thumbs up. All right. Let's see. Okay, so let's meet the panel. So I'm Kelly, the founder of, well, I'm not going to go through everybody's thing. So Alex, will you wave? And then I'll pin you also. And then you'll stay up in the corner. And Malia, will you wave too, so everybody can see you? And I'll pin you. And they will both be presenting and sharing. And we have Fiona Lynn. Where's Fiona? Will you wave? Oh, I gotta raise my thing. There she is. Thank you, Fiona.
Thank you.
And Fiona is an expert with operations, so she is here to answer any of your questions in that regard. And the master of all things AI in a variety of productive ways is Kristina Sorrelli. Will you wave so we can all see you? Here we go. And I'll pin you also. I don't think I've ever pinned this many people before, but you'll get to know all of them along the way. And then I'll give you a link at the end, which was the website for our training, and it has all of our contact information on there, ways to reach everybody. Feel free to put any contact information you would like to be shared with everyone that's here. Feel free to put that in the chat. And if you want to put your LinkedIn links or Instagram or WhatsApp, we got to beef that up apparently. That's bigger than I thought it was going to be. So feel free to put that in there as well. Okay, so this session is the basics. So it's for you if you haven't used AI, if you're curious, you don't have time to learn a bunch of tech and you're busy. So does that apply to everybody here? I think it probably does. Let me do I wonder if I can do a poll from the slide. Okay, I have to stop my share. I'm going to do a quick poll. Okay, so share how familiar you are with AI. You've heard of it, have never used it before, just started looking into it. I'm just getting, or you just started looking into it, and then I'm getting started using it. Okay, and if you're an expert, Alex, Malia, Fiona, Kristina, don't reply. So don't skew the results. Awesome. We figured we'd have a bit of a mix and that people that, I mean, it's hard to not be starting in some way, right? So all good.
Yeah, we're all kind of starting in our own ways, right? There's
Right.
always a new tool coming out or something. So
Absolutely.
Are you still a little leery? I know I said you're all experts. Aren't you a little leery if somebody self-proclaims to be like, I'm the AI guru? Oh,
There are no
we need that right now.
there are no
Right.
experts right now.
Right.
That's what I feel. I feel like we're all learning.
Yeah,
right.
that's what I think too. All right, so everybody can see this results, right? So we're, can you all see the poll?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So 70% are just getting started. So that's pretty good. And then some have looked into it, 13%, and then just a few have heard of it and haven't done anything. And then there's 13% for folks outside of our panel who are experts and use it daily. So I hope that you all can learn something from it too. So thank you so much for helping us. Oh, wait, now you can see it for sure, right? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing that and go back to the slides. All right, so let's go into the basic overview of Gen AI. So I couldn't get it until I saw a friend share it on the screen. So once I saw a screen share and just with ChatGPT, then it was a lot easier to understand it and to get used to it. And so that spurred me having a lot of conversations about it with leaders. I do consulting primarily at the intersection of leadership, culture, and performance. So I'm tech savvy, but I'm not in the tech space. And I would say, Kristina, well, all of us are kind of like that. We're all tech savvy. And Malia, you probably do the most in related to AI specifically in training and all. And Alex and Kristina and Fiona and I all use it a lot. But we're not the technical people that created it or anything. But because I was a normal, regular person, then I kept hearing from people about that they wouldn't use it and the fear and all of that. So I wrote a book called The Basics of Gen AI, and I'm just going to share some stuff from it. It's a guide to help people understand it and feel comfortable using it. And all with the caveat of course, it's up to you to decide how you use it. So for the introduction, here is how it basically works. So you're going to tell the tool, I'm going to use ChatGPT in here for the day. You're going to give it information and ask it something, just like you would an intern or a brand new employee to your company. And so you have to give them the information as a new person that doesn't know you and or doesn't know your business. So you're going to ask something that the tool will interpret what you ask. That's all. It's not emotional. It's not understanding it. It's interpreting the words and then deciphering based on all the things inside of it, what the output is that you desire. And then it gives you output. And then I think the most important step in this is the beginning and the end. You have to evaluate the output and then choose what to use. So let's go into, if you would like to join me in ChatGPT, if you have not gone there before, you can just enter chatgpt.com in your browser line. And if you want to go over there, I'm going to stop sharing this so I can see my screen.
And Kelly, just for the teams here, like this is just one tool that
Yes.
we use. There are so many out there, and just for the demo purpose, that would be more easy for everyone to follow along, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that's how I wrote the book too, was just using one tool, ChatGPT. Frankly, that's the one I still use the most because now it knows me the best. And in what I do in my work, that I'm not tech, but I need to use it for marketing and for efficiency and operations and things. I didn't want to learn all the tools that came out. I tried at the beginning and it was too time consuming. And so many of them do similar things. The nuances didn't matter at that level that, at the basic level. And they're not going to matter today as you're getting started to use it. So I'm just going to share, I'm sharing screen one now. So this is what ChatGPT looks like when you go there. And you can ask it anything. And so I had the free version of this for the longest time, for a year and a half. And then it only gives you so much space. So I ended up paying once I used too much space. So you can enter a question here, and this is called a prompt. And so that's the terminology, and that's what Alex and Malia will use, and that's what our term will be. You can enter a prompt, and then it will answer you. So you can sign up for free in the upper right corner if you would like to. You decide if you're going to do that or not. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Oh, sorry. I thought starting at the basic would be the easiest thing, but let me grab the code here. 102.
These extra security,
Yes,
good and
that's
bad at the same time. Yeah.
proving extra security.
Yes.
Okay, so the way it lays out once you start using it is on the left, these are the tools you can go into. New chat, search, those are the ones I use the most. And then these are my projects. And then these are the chats that I have done lately. Okay, so here's one I did this morning. So I entered, I'm traveling today, I'm in a hotel, I'm in Montana, so it's an hour earlier. And so I asked it, give me 5 to 10 ways to be energized when there's a busy day. And they need to be doable in a hotel where it's cold out. So I'm not going to go run 5 miles in the freezing cold. So it gave a list that's pretty reasonable. So I was pretty happy. And I didn't reply, but a lot of times I'll reply and say, thank you, good job. And I liked it because of this. So I'm setting up the tool to help me better. So a phrase I sometimes say is make it easy for people to give you what you want. So make it easy for the tool that you use to give you what you want as well. Let me just check my notes real quick to see if I was going to share anything else on the introduction. We'll go through some hesitancies and some security concerns. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I think that is it. The most important part, I would say, is choosing how you're going to use it. Today, I want you to learn so you can discern. Learn about a tool so you can discern how to use it. And then always discern the output. And we'll talk about that a little bit more at the end. So I think that's good for the intro. Alex, I'll turn it over to you. And do you want me to do the slide first?
Yes, if you don't mind. Yeah, just
Okay.
throwing that one slide up and then I'll share my screen when we get to the demo slide.
Okay. So we're going to go over to Alex Colley. Yay.
Hi. Yeah, so I am Alex 𝗘𝗀𝗀𝗲. I am the co-founder of DameSpeak. We're a digital marketing agency here in Kansas City. We do have clients nationwide, but we do focus on Kansas City, obviously, which makes sense, right? We started about 5 years ago, and it feels like I don't know, it just feels like it flew by. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. So let's talk about really quickly prompt best practices. So there are a few things about prompting that you want to keep in mind. And the first one I really like to make sure we kind of hammer out is these models, especially the LLMs, so large language models, the ChatGPTs, the Claudes. So I will let you guys know I prefer Claude, so that's what I'm going to demo on. It's very similar as far as structure as ChatGPT and many of the other LLMs, but just so you know, that's the one I'm going to be demoing on. But all of these platforms are they are based on probability, not truth. So I know you guys, I'm sure, have heard about the hallucinations and all those and it lying to you, those kind of things. It's not lying to you. It's not purposeful, right? It's not trying to lie to you. It's not emotional, as we just mentioned. But it is based on probability. So what you want to do, that leads into my next point. You want to be as specific as possible. And sometimes I can get a little cumbersome. Now, as you train the platform that you prefer, it does start to understand like, oh, you said this, but maybe you meant that, or this is what you meant by this word, right? It starts to really understand how you prompt, how you ask questions, how you try to work through things. So it does help as you're training it. You don't have to be as specific, but the more specific you can be, the more it will decrease the probability of what answer it gives you. So the answer will be a better answer. So that said, the first answer is the worst answer. That is one of the things I want to make sure you understand. You never want to go with the first answer. You need to make sure you are diving deeper, and we'll demo this a little. You're diving deeper, you're asking follow-up questions so that you can get the best answer possible. Now, if you do happen to get a really great first answer and you know it's truthful, you know it's correct, you know it's accurate, all those things, that's a different conversation. But the first answer is the worst answer. Just keep that in mind. And then one of the tricks, a trick you can use is giving it a role, and we'll demo this too. So instead of just saying, who's going to be here for this large soccer event, right? You want to say you're an expert in soccer, international soccer. Who's going to come to this soccer event, right? That's what you want to do. You want to give it a role, and you don't have to do it every single time, but it's a really good way to get the LLM, for lack of a better word, in the mindset of what you're trying to answer. And then show, don't just tell. So a lot of times what you want to do, especially if you're trying to create some kind of image or a graphic or even like a report, you want to give it an example. So if you have a really specific type of style image you want to create some kind of graphic, you want to make sure it's on brand, right? You want to give it a previous, I don't know, ad that you had before, or a previous social media post or something along those lines, so that it knows like where to start and what you're really looking for, and then you can prompt from there. And Malia will have a lot more to say about that, as far as from a graphics standpoint, because she's way, way, way better at that than I am. So, but that's also like with reports or something, like some kind of like proposal. So a lot of times I'll put a proposal together for a client, and rather than having to take a previous proposal and redo the whole thing and add in everything, I can just say, hey, here's all the information I want in my proposal. Take this and put it in the same branding and the same format as this proposal, and that way it'll it does mostly good job. You always have to edit. Rarely do you not have to edit, but at least I'm not spending an extra 2 hours trying to make sure everything's in there with the right branding and all of that. And so I apologize if you hear the dogs in the background. I foster dogs, so I've got a new one. Okay, and so then the other thing is one task at a time. None of these, you can give it one or two at a time, but it's much better if you go like one thing at a time to ask each question. First, hey, do an outline for this, I'll use the proposal again. Give me an outline for this. Actually, we do a lot of writing, right? So give me an outline for this blog that I want to write. And then you go from there and like do each kind of section by section. And that usually gives you a better answer, right? So anyway, okay. So now we can go to, and if you guys have any questions, feel free, my words, to put it in the chat, and we can try to answer it as we go, or we can do it in the Q&A at the end. So, all right. I guess I'll just share my screen versus going to the next slide. There's no reason for that, right? So I've got a couple demos here. Let me get to the right one. There we go. That's that. All right. Share that. All right. Can you guys see it? See the Claude?
Yes,
Yeah,
now.
perfect. Awesome. Thank you. So one of the prompts I was going to put in, where did my notes go? So this is going to be about translating menus or something along those lines, signs, whatever, for translating a welcome sign in Spanish. You guys are probably going to have not just Spanish. I'm sure a lot of you guys are already do that because we have a lot of Spanish speaking folks in Kansas City. But anyway, this is a prompt, and we'll kind of walk through all those steps. So the first one, let me really quick put it in here, and I'll read it out for you guys as well. So the first prompt, oh, just kidding, it did not copy and paste. All right. Okay, so here the first prompt is, I run a small restaurant in Kansas City. So that's a role, right? You're using a role of, give it something to start, somewhere to start, right? Translate this welcome sign into Spanish. And then you also want to keep tell them what kind of tone you want to use. That's another piece of this puzzle as well. Keep it warm and friendly. And then this is what the sign says. It says, welcome, free Wi-Fi is available. Ask us for the password. Restrooms are located in the back. Let us know if you need anything. So we go ahead and prompt that. So if anyone speaks Spanish, I do not. If anyone does, tell me how that translated. I don't see anything. I don't know. Hey. Okay, so then we're going to do a follow-up prompt. And here's the follow-up. Now translate it into French. Make it a little more formal since we got a lot of we get a lot of international travelers. Just diving a little bit deeper, doing a little bit more here. Any French speakers in the room? So there's the French. And it even gives you a little bit, well, and I've really trained it to follow up and, kind of explain itself a lot of times. So it does give me, a few notes, right? Here are the notes. This is a classic formal French courtesy phrase that lands beautifully with business travelers. It's a step in the elegance from the Spanish version. Feels right at home in a professional hospitality context. So it does give me, because I've trained it to give me a little more information, it does tend to give me a little bit more information. And then there's one more piece of this prompt. So, and this is, I like this too, because this might be too long, it might be too much to even put on a sign. So then I'm going to say, hey, well, can you also give me a short version I can use on a table tent? And then there you go. It's much shorter. You can definitely fit that on a table tent if you need to do so. And go from there. So if you have, sorry, now I'm pulling the chat up to see. It's very good. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Crystal. All right. Yeah, and you can use Google Translate. You're 100% right. Yeah, there's definitely that. But this is more, we're just trying to teach the LLM specifically here. So yeah, absolutely. You use whatever tool you think is best. But again, we're just trying to use this as an example for this specific workshop. Okay, so here is another prompt. I'm actually going to start a new chat. Not that it would make a big difference, but I'm going to start a new chat just because it's kind of a totally different question. So this prompt, so this is the second demo. This one's going to be about brainstorming staffing solutions. So sometimes, let's say you are running, this is going to be about a coffee shop. You're running a coffee shop and you've got 2 employees that called in and you're like, oh, what do I do? Like, your brain sometimes can't move fast enough, right? Because you're so, like, you're overwhelmed or whatever. So this is just one of those situations that we came up with that, let's prompt and say, I'll show you really quick. And because one of the other things I really love about LLMs and the rest of the team here would agree, it's really great for brainstorming. It's really great for ideation. It really sometimes helps you think about things when you don't have someone else to collaborate with, especially a lot of us work from home. A lot of us work by ourselves. We're kind of in our own little silos. It kind of gives you a collaboration partner sometimes that you don't always have, but it does help you. I like to actually call it my sparring partner because it's rather than it being like someone that's going to give me a yes answer all the time. Like I like to like spar back and forth, like, well, what about this? Or are you sure about that? And it gives you kind of better answers and solutions, right? So this prompt is going to say, I run a small coffee shop. Again, we give it a role. I just found out 2 of my employees can't work this Saturday, which is our busiest day. And then I don't have a big team to pull from. What are my options? So I haven't trained it. I'm not a coffee shop owner, so I haven't trained it to do anything. So I'm not really sure what it's going to prompt me what it's going to say. But someone that is a coffee shop owner, you might actually get a better answer than I would if you've been using it and training it. So let's just see what it comes up with. It's probably going to be a lot of answers now that I'm thinking about it, like because a lot of my stuff is long. So here's some ideas, right? Like call in favors from your existing team, bring in temporary help, simplify your menu or operations for the day, ask friends or family or trusted regulars, reduce hours, post on Facebook. And a lot of these probably wouldn't work. Like I can't imagine asking my friends or family unless they've done it before, or simplify my menu for the day. I guess that's possible. Again, I'm not a restaurant owner or a coffee shop owner, but some of these things are kind of like, well, would I do that? I don't know. So let's prompt it with a second prompt where it says, all right, it says, I like the idea of offering a bonus to pick up the shift. Help me write a quick text to send to my team that's casual, but communicates urgency. So it gives it a tone, you don't want to sound desperate, but you need some help. And so, hey team, I need a favor. This is very much how I would ask, of course. That's how I've trained it. I'm short 2 people this Saturday. I really need someone to step up. That sounds just like me. I just want you to know that. Anyone who can come in will get X, amount bonus on top of their regular pay. So, and again, you can tweak it from there, obviously, which I edit everything, but it's a good starting point, right? But let's go just a little bit deeper. Like, what if no one can cover? Like, what are we going to do? Or do you have some ideas, basically? What if no one can cover, right? Give me some ideas for adjusting operations so we can still get through the day with fewer people. And it'll give you kind of a list of options. And again, if you've trained your LLM that actually understands your menu and understands your operations better, all those things, it will give you a much better answer. But this is kind of more of a generic answer because I don't, own a coffee shop. But this is how it works. And it'll just, the deeper you go, the more questions you ask, the better it will answer them. And then what is it, 9:47? Well, let's during the Q&A, if we have some time, we could do like a fun demo, but I'm gonna let Malia, I'm gonna turn this over to Malia for the next part. But if we have some time, I kind of have like a fun demo that I do with actually like high school students that you guys I think would appreciate. So but we'll get there if we can get there. But Malia, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'm also gonna put my my LinkedIn link there. So if you guys want to connect, ask me questions on LinkedIn or give me a call or whatever, just let me know. So, oh, thank you, Fiona. Thank you for that information in the Microsoft pilot. Oh, I love all this. Okay, yay, thank you.
Yeah, take a look in there and see if you want to add some more thoughts in there.
Okay, I will, and I'll chat it. So I'll turn this over to Malia. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so much, Alex. Way to go.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, Alex is done. I'm going to share. Malia, do you want me to, is everybody seeing my screen?
Yep, we can see your screen now.
Yes. Yay. Thank you so much, Malia.
No problem.
And let's see, you want me to do this here, or you want to just do your?
Yeah, I think first of all, my name's 𝗕𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗲𝗀. I am the founder and CEO of Connect the Dots. It's a strategic marketing consultancy. We also have a creative studio called Concepts. I do a lot of AI training locally, and you'll actually be seeing some upcoming trainings on Casey Game Plan. I think they're about to post them like in this week or next week. So keep an eye out for that. I think we can stick with the slide for now, and then we'll switch back and forth. The first example I'm gonna just cover briefly because Alex kind of covered this with her demo. But ideally, just like she said, you could ask ChatGPT to translate something like a welcome message into different languages. The one thing that I want to kind of bring up is, as you go through talking to ChatGPT, just like she said, like, don't use the first response, like talk back to it, iterate back and forth, right? So for this particular example, something that you might say after it gives you the first result could be something like, hey, give me a more formal greeting for Japanese specifically. And then that's something that you could kind of go back and forth and ask it to do. Another thing, just like she said, you can ask it to change the greeting based on what you're working on. So say you're working on a rack card and you don't have that much space, or you're working on your website and you want more, like you want like a small paragraph to add, something like that. So there are different ways that we can go ahead and play with this specifically. We can go to the next slide, I think.
And just to be clear, this is an opportunity for all of you participants to practice these prompts that Malia is going to share, and then fine tune based on what she shares. So if you want to open another tab and do that on the side, that'd be a great opportunity. And then that also, if you're trying it while she's sharing and talking, it might prompt some other questions from you about the tools. So,
which that's a great point, because you might be thinking like, but I don't have a local art gallery, right? And so that's when you would substitute out your business, right? And say, you would keep the same gist of this prompt. You would just switch out local art gallery for your business is, and then see what it comes up with for you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next one.
Yep. I'm ready, Kelly.
All right.
Okay, so example number 2, a lot of times social media can get super time consuming and you're like, I don't have time for this. Maybe you have some marketing support, maybe you don't. So whatever that looks like for you, I think this is a great use case for any of the tools: Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, whichever one you feel most comfortable with. And you could ask it to write a friendly Facebook post for a small town art gallery, still kind of building off of the first example here, just to show you guys. Say you have like an upcoming weekend exhibit, and the key thing here, if you realize, bullet number 2 specifically calls out tone. A lot of people forget to tell ChatGPT or Claude, whichever tool you're using, what the tone of the message should be and exactly what you expect the output to be like. And so a lot of times, if you forget this in the first like prompt that you start with, it's not a big deal. Once again, we want to encourage you guys to have a conversation with it back and forth, like iterate back and forth to get to the point that you feel comfortable with the result that it's provided. So for this particular use case, we're saying warm and community focused. And then last but not least, you always want to have some sort of call to action, right? So I can actually share my screen and demo this one. Let's see. Oh, cool. So do you guys see my screen? Yes, no?
Yes, we
Yes.
do. We're good.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. So I've already provided this prompt in here, and I'm just gonna hit go to kind of show you guys what it comes up with. And so if you see, it's like kind of repeating back to me, like, here's a warm, community focused Facebook post, right? And then it's provided it here, and we've got our call to action down here to join us this Saturday. Of course, anytime that you have a result, you are going to want to review, just like if you were working on something, you probably would have a coworker, a friend, somebody want to review it to make sure that there's no typos, no incorrect information, things like that. So similarly, we want to treat AI results the same way, and just kind of pass through and say, like, hey, does this really work? Is there something in here that I don't want? And then once again, like, I could go back and forth and say, make the tone friendlier, and shorten length. And like, we could go back and see what it comes up with. And it provided another great example, shortened and whatnot. And I don't know how you guys feel about emojis. I feel like there's a time and a place, but if you don't like emojis in your social media posts, like, you could very much just tell it to, like, remove the emojis. One popular topic I'm sure you guys have heard of is like the M dash usage. So you could also tell it, like, don't use M dashes, right? And so now it's like gone ahead and done exactly what I told it to do. Another example, you don't have to pull up the slide, Kelly. I'll just go through it. Another example that I had is asking it to create a 2-week promotional plan for a small local museum launching a new exhibit, include social media ideas, one email, and then one in-person promotion idea, and notice I specified budget. So the key here is, like, to give it as much context, as much information as you can bake in, and really tell it what good looks like. I have twins, and they're like 2.5 years old, and I feel like I treat everybody like a toddler now. And so I sometimes feel like I also do that with AI. I'm just like, okay, what does a toddler need to know? Everything. There's multiple ways that you need to kind of go in and, like, explain it. Similarly, to how we said, screenshots are great. If you like an example that somebody else is just killing it on social email marketing, right? Screenshot that, include it in here. If you have specific links of, like, a website that has done a really phenomenal job, you can go ahead and drop links. You can also drop links to most of the social media platforms except LinkedIn. It has a really hard time scraping LinkedIn, so just FYI on that. But let me hit go on this for the sake of time, and you can kind of see what it comes up with. And I feel like for all of us small business owners that sometimes don't have a lot of budget, but we have a lot on our wish list, this is really great to just break it down and say, oh, okay, realistically, how could we use this, right? And so it's gone ahead and, like, specified what my goal is, what my budget breakdown looks like. You know, it's recommending paid ads, and then for me to print flyers, and then a opening day activation. So maybe like an open house or like some sort of a giveaway, right? And it actually builds it out week by week. So you see day by day, like day 3, day 5. And then once again, this is a great starting point, and feel free to keep going back and forth and saying, like, well, this works for my business and this doesn't. And I will stop sharing.
Let's keep that up for a second. Can you
Oh,
keep
yeah.
that on? That's
Okay.
fantastic based on what Tracy shared before.
Yeah.
So you all can put in the description that she gave of the people that will be coming to the area. And then you can ask the tool to create your marketing plan and give it a budget, and you can flesh all of this out. You could then ask it to create a timeline, and it can tell you dates of when you should do all the different things, and it can write promotions for you and create the flyers. And then this might be kind of simple, but I just remembered a minute ago that I didn't know this at the beginning. And so let's say if this is the final one and you're all set with this, then you just highlight. Can you show it a copy and paste? How you?
Yeah, so you can go down here and it'll copy it for you. Or what I like to do is I like to just like, if I really like what it's provided, and I know I'll probably lose it later, and I don't want to go through all these chats and try to find it, right? Like I will just say, save this as a downloadable PDF. And now I've got that PDF. So if I need it in the future to say we have another global event, which I'm sure we will now, like this is just a starting point. So that's why it's really important to you guys, for you guys to learn these things right now, because as small business owners, we just don't have the time that we wish we had. And so this is something great that you could download as a PDF and then just keep in like a folder to refer back to any other time we have any major sporting event or like a global event just like this.
And I'll just let you know, I'm not going to show you close up, but I have this content calendar that I literally printed out because I really liked it. And I printed it out, and I just keep it right beside me. So I follow it and I mark off as I go because I really liked what we came up with. And we can still change it, right? You can change it anytime, but so I'm glad you guys talked about that, because I was gonna say, I have an example right in front of me.
Well, so. and like going back to like Kelly's point, I think what's really cool about this is like, look, it's saying what success looks like. A lot of times we just don't think about the problem that way. We just think about like, oh my gosh, there's, a lot of people coming. I need to figure out how my business can target them. I need a 2-week plan, but it will be pretty detailed and say like, hey, simple content formula, keep it to this, right? What does success look like? And I mean, just like it details out everything. And so kind of going back to her point about a timeline, it kind of sort of does provide you that timeline. It's just a matter of you taking a look at the calendar and saying when you actually want to launch.
Yeah. Amazing. So that just fits right in. Thank you so much, Malia.
No problem.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to share back to the slides. So you should be seeing my slide. Yes.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a question in here about not only just copying what you like, but Kristina mentioned about Canvas. A lot of times when you ask it to create a document, if you like what it provided, it will just provide you with like a downloadable. But sometimes I like to collaborate with it and go back and forth and kind of adjust things real time. So you can ask it like, can you take this to Canvas? And when you say, can you take this to Canvas, it'll actually provide a document that you can collaborate and like edit along with it, if that makes sense. So that's a great thing to know too. So
good. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So this slide has a photo that ChatGPT created. So I gave it the parameters of this prompt, but I said a coffee shop and the countries and put soccer. And so, I didn't even go back and forth. This was just in one prompt and pretty good for the time that I want to spend on the what the use of the item is. So for like a LinkedIn post, I don't want to spend 4 hours going back and forth. I want to spend 30 minutes and be done with the whole thing. So, or faster. So the, kind of balance that out. But I was pretty happy with the photos that came out. They're so much better now than they used to be. That's for sure. So I'm curious from the group, what have you been hearing about AI ethics and security? And put your thoughts or comments in the chat. What do you know about it? What have you heard about it? What are your concerns about it? And we don't have time today to go in this basic program to go into every single thing. But I hope you've recognized some of the issues, some of the concerns. And I'll share one slide here.
Kristina mentioned be careful with images because they're pulling from somewhere, and I'm like, yep, that's
Yeah.
true.
Right on, right on.
Mhm.
So for risk mitigation,
Mm.
the book that I have goes into, I think there's over 50 risk mitigation strategies, but they all kind of line up to these three. And so the first one is protect your own data and your work so that you don't put in your employee social security numbers, or if you don't want to put in your financial documents and stuff like that. So be selective about what you enter into the tool. In ChatGPT, there are settings that you can choose when you do your profile. Go into the settings and you'll see them to that will tell ChatGPT, and the other tools have it, I'm sure. Don't use my stuff out in the world to train other people. So you can put those parameters on there. I just don't trust all of that, so I don't put in confidential information or anything that I'm extra protective of. So be careful of that. And then do copyright your own work and protect the value of your work when you're creating something. And avoid copyright infringement, as somebody put in the chat about the photos. Kristina, thank you, that they're pulling the photos from somewhere. So like this is a free program, training program. So I'm not making any revenue off of this. These slides aren't going to be posted anywhere. It's part of this video that is training people. So in that regard, it's okay. But if I were going to try to make money off of those pictures or do something, publicize them somewhere, then that would be a serious concern. And pay attention to the laws too about the copyright, because there's more being done. There were no laws about this a year ago, and now they're starting to bring cases and have that come out. And then, as all of us have said, verify the output prior to using it. One of the first cases that got really publicized was with the lawyers in New York that submitted a brief to the judge, and the judge could tell it wasn't real. And it was the first time it was publicized as a whole big embarrassing, career damaging error by those lawyers. And they fought it. Even in the case, they pretended like, no, these are real, we know, but they didn't really. And it turned into a big issue for them, and embarrassing too. Those are the three I'm going to focus on. So I'll invite Alex, Malia, Fiona, and Kristina if you want to add one. If you want to just take a quick minute, and if there's anything else you want to say on this.
One of the things for me, I always say anytime I present on AI, it's more generic than anything, but we all know there's going to be bad actors out there. We all know there's going to be people that are going to take advantage of it, are going to use it in the wrong way, use it unethically. But this room of people, we don't have to be those people, right? I try to say that because I think a lot of times we might, one decision leads to another decision that might not always be ethical, right? But if we really keep that in mind and say, you know what, we're going to be the ones that aren't going to use it unethically. We're going to pay attention to these things. We're also, we've mentioned the environment here. You're going to pay attention to that. And how can we help mitigate that, right? So I just like to say that because, we're going to see people using it unethically. You're probably going to see people use it unethically first person at some point, but, we don't have to be those people. So I like, so easy audio. What is your actual name is the question. I would like to know, because I was going to say your name, but I don't know it. So, but you mentioned, hi, James. So you mentioned do what feels right. And I agree, because a lot of us know, we know if we're crossing that line, right? So just don't cross that line, and make sure you're doing, what would you want someone to do with your work or whatever, So anyway, that's my spiel on ethics for AI.
I think
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, so Alex, that's a great point. I think for me, I deal with a lot of financial operational data. I use Copilot for many reasons, and especially for war-related, client-related work. If you are letting the tool process sensitive, confidential data, you have to be extremely careful. And I know earlier there's one individual asked about uploading documents. You can accidentally upload incorrect documents. So really think about the environment you are working in and how protective it is. Is it an enterprise solution? Is it really data going to leak out accidentally? So give it more thoughts about how you can create a safe environment. For marketing prompts and these kind of things, I worry a little bit less about it. But just the level of the data that you use. And especially if you are doing client work, you need to be even more careful about that.
Good. Thanks, Fiona. Malia, do you want to share one? And then Kristina will come to you, and then we'll open it up for Q&A.
I think the team's done a pretty good job of like covering them. I think mine is just like always make sure you review, even if you're talking about your business and say it provides you with something that looks really great, but there's a testimonial in there and you're like, where did that come from? A lot of times it'll say, oh, I just put in a placeholder testimonial. So that's something so easy to miss if you're just wanting to produce something about your business specifically. So I think it really does warrant the same kind of review that anything that we would create would warrant. So just keep that in mind.
Awesome. Also, when it provides links, it might look like the real link, but it's not really. So make sure if any links it provides for sources that you verify those. Kristina, do you want to chime in with one?
Okay. You're gonna tell me I was typing in the chat when you asked. What am I responding to?
You
I
want to chime in
apologize.
with any risk mitigation, security, or ethical tip for everybody?
I would definitely say that, yeah, I would say be, be bold when you're going into playing with this, right? I think we all started at the same point that anyone who hasn't started playing with this, it started, right? So go in, don't worry about breaking anything. You're not going to break anything. You're not going to do anything that hasn't already been done by thousands of other people. So go in, be bold, just try everything out. That's how you learn. That's how we learned. And join groups of people who are doing things that you want to do. That's where I learned the most, is by being around other people that are doing things that I wanted to do. So that's things that I would advise people to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, everybody, that completes the formal part of our, I'll do a wrap up in a few minutes, but are there any more questions? If you want to raise your hand using the tool at the bottom of your screen, feel free to raise your hand. Let's see, I think I'll stop sharing so I can see better.
There was a
Or
question
in the chat. Fiona.
Okay, I know there was a question. Alice, you're going to demonstrate how to generate a professional document, right? I know there was one.
Yeah, I'm teeing it up right now. So go ahead and
Okay.
answer some questions, and then I'll let you guys know when I'm ready.
Okay.
Does anybody else in that group have a question?
And even you have a concern or certain things,
Yeah.
I am not the expert. I never claim I'm the expert. I'm still learning every day. If there's anything you feel concerned about, anything you try to accomplish, but you don't know how to get started, feel free to just share your thoughts here. And in terms of generating documents, Alex was holding things up here. It is saving me, I would say, for certain weeks, 5 or 10 hours a week. And knowing that coming from a corporate executive to become a fractional COO, you are not just sitting in the room with executive team members to strategize things. You have to roll out your sleeve to do a lot of things. So thinking about all the benefits you can gain from just learning it every day, challenge yourself. And when you have those questions, treat those tools as your thought partners. And generating documents for a very intense week, I have to generate a lot, asking the revenue department to extend the filing deadline. And by pulling in all the data of the efforts we have tried in the past, and all this information is in your ecosystem. So train that and contain it, it will become like extremely helpful to save a lot of time.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Putting it in, I just put another reminder in. I haven't gone through the whole chat, but if you haven't put your company information in there, feel free to do that, your Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever you're using. And so we can support each other as we're all gearing up for for the soccer visitors in the summertime. And I did see a question from Anna. How do you check output information for copyright issues? Alex, I saw you nod. Do you want to answer that one?
There's actually copyright.
Oh.
There's actually copyright tools that will go through and it will look through and do plagiarism for pieces that LLMs have spit out, and it will do plagiarism copyright over the content that it's given you to see if anything has been actually taken verbatim from books, articles, things like that. And it's able to do that and look at it for you.
I also, I like to prompt and ask, like where, and I know it doesn't always, it doesn't always work. I agree. But it's one of those things too, at least sometimes it gets you in the right direction, but a lot of what I do, it's not like I'm writing books, right? So it's not, so it's a little, so a lot of, we've talked like Fiona mentioned, it's like, creating a lot of marketing content, those kind of things. We're not as concerned about those types of things, because it's pretty, one thing, it's pretty fast. It's pretty just churning out content, and we're using very, very specific things for each brand. So I don't really run into that in those situations, but yeah, sorry, Kristina, you're right. Those are some good tools to use too.
Yeah, there are specific tools that will go through and check for plagiarism.
Can you put a recommendation one in the chat? Not that you recommend, but a couple that you know about.
Yep.
Thank you.
The other thing is like you can do the obvious thing and ask it, but even it will tell you like, well, for example, if you have like intellectual property or something and you're wanting to trademark something and it's not trademarked, and say you ask like, hey, what should I do? Even it will say like, well, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, that's true.
You probably should reach out to a lawyer. So I mean, that's another thing to just kind of keep in mind, like when in doubt. Obviously copyright is something that you might not always want to involve a lawyer with. Like hopefully it's like a quick check and you should be in a good spot. But for those of you that are considering like trademarking or things like that, like just know when in doubt, always involve a lawyer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and one of the things I've run into, because I think, I think a lot of this was don't get me wrong, it is not solved by any means, but it's definitely it's heading in that direction, because I actually had created images through ChatGPT, and because of the chat that I was in, it already was working within like the parameters of a brand, and it automatically put a logo on it. And I was like, no, I don't want that logo. Like, take the logo off. And I mean, and it was like, no, we can't, because that's against policy, right? To take a logo off of something. And I was like, no, review the chat. We created this image together. Like, I don't need a logo on it, because I was going to add the logo myself in Canva. I was going to do my own thing, right? Because I like to edit still. And it would not let me take the logo. I mean, I must have had this conversation for 15 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay, never mind. So I think they're trying to put some of those guardrails in place. I think that's a pretty obvious example of that. But again, it's definitely not all the way there by any means. But that was just my situation. I was like, okay, well, never mind then, so.
I had the same thing with preparing for this, and I created a soccer character, a soccer robot in a uniform, and it had the FIFA logo and the Nike logo. And I had to take them off, and so let's get ready to wrap up. Alex, do you want to do a demo? Were you going to do something?
Yeah, I'll show you guys. I ran through it real quick so that we wouldn't have to like wait for everything. Real quick, okay. So, and I haven't looked at the output yet, so we're all going to see it together, because there will probably be edits. There almost always are. So what I did, let me share my screen real quick. So I took a fractional marketing proposal that we put together for a restaurant at one point, and I said, and I wanted to change. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, I hit desktop, but I didn't hit share. So hold on. There we go. Okay, now can you see? Okay. So one of our proposals we put out, so I asked it to turn it into, pretend it's a restaurant that serves, I definitely did not grammatically correctly prompt it. But pretend it's a restaurant that serves Italian food called Italian Restaurant, and update all the information to be generic. So the first thing it does is it gives me all of the information that was included in it, and then it asks like, okay, do you want me to, so I'll go through all that. Then it said, do you want me to, format as a clean PDF version, create a simplified one-page version, blah, blah, blah. So I said, format this as a clean PDF. And then it says, okay, here you go. So I downloaded it, and then we will open it. Here we go. We'll see how it turned out. We'll find out now.
Oh,
well, that's not what I wanted. Oh, goodness gracious. I was hoping it would give me the actual colors and everything. So I would have to iterate. So this is one of those situations where you have to iterate a few times and say, no, I actually want the branding that went with the original document. So I'll put that in there.
Okay, now typos because we're all watching.
Yeah, I know, right? There we go. We'll see what it gives me.
Yeah.
But I typically do this with like reports. I just didn't. I would have to genericize some of the reports, and that was going to take me a little while longer than just like a generic proposal. So, but we'll see how it gives it to me. But I do use ChatGPT for anything like graphic wise, because I love Claude for content and writing and those kind of things. I just like it better. I just always have. And also Claude, when I first kind of started working on this, I was actually given advice from someone that helps build LLMs and those kind of things to use Claude, because it did have a lot more privacy protections in the very beginning. It had a lot of where it wasn't just sharing everything. It wasn't like learning from everything. You could keep it within your own like chats. So anyway, that's why I actually started using Claude originally. There was better privacy involved. Okay. And yeah.
All right, drum roll. Let's see what it came up with.
We'll see how that goes. We'll just have to see how it goes. That's okay. Not even close. So this is what you run into, right? And it is a more complicated proposal. But anyway, so this is what you run into, and you go, you know what? Do I want to spend time doing this, or do I want to just do it myself? And so that comes back to, and sometimes it works perfectly, but it just depends. So anyway. Sorry.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Thank you for doing that a live demo. That was really good.
I mean, it's good to see the when they don't work too.
And good for people who are less experienced to see the more experienced people have these challenges too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was just saying, like, but at least you have the meat of the proposal, and it's like a quick fix. It's not still going to take you hours to work on the proposal. So there's pluses and minuses, right?
Right. Yeah. And like I always say, people, it's just another tool. I mean, and I know it's not just another tool because there's a lot to it, right? But if you really think about it, it is another tool that, you just need to learn. And I tell people all the time, if you don't want to use it, that's okay. Like, but I would learn it, because it's not going anywhere. Like there's a lot, not everything, but it's going to be very ingrained in a lot of society. And so just understanding how it works, why it works the way it works, why it puts outputs the way it puts outputs. I mean, I just think it's important for us to understand more than anything.
Yeah, right on. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. And Alex, stop sharing and I'll share mine back again. And just have a few things for you before we close. Okay, so we had the objectives at the beginning. So how are we doing with those? So do you feel, as the business owners here, do you feel more confident, able to adapt and prepare? You have some ideas, things like we know who the audience is. We have ideas for marketing, creating the plan, check mark. Communicate easily with international. You don't have to learn all of the languages. You have the tips. Boost visibility, amazing tips. and being more efficient. And we talked about using the tools efficiently and reducing uncertainty and stress, so you know more about what to expect. So hopefully everybody feels like they accomplished the objectives that we set out to accomplish here. And just in the interest of time, I'm going to go quickly. So if you do want to create your account, if you haven't done so yet, get in the habit of using it, trying it for real tasks. Spend 15 minutes a day learning and practicing, and then keep a journal or like a diary of your best prompts, your favorite prompts. Keep track of what works well. And then I added here, commit to your personal AI pledge. There's a pledge in the back of the book, and I'll send it around to everybody who came. So you decide how you're going to use it ethically and responsibly and honorably and that kind of thing. And then there is an AI roundtable that we started in Kansas City a year and a half ago, and that meets once a month via Zoom. And you're all welcome to come. And that's people from mostly in the U.S., but sometimes from all over. And we tee up an AI topic every month and have a robust conversation and some breakouts around it. And here is the QR code and the website for you to link with everybody on the panel today. And I assume all of you guys put your LinkedIn and contact information, your websites in the chat, but feel free to do so if you haven't done so yet. And let's see, I see Mindy raised her hand. Mindy, you want to chime in?
Good morning.
Hi, Mindy.
I just wanted to answer a couple
Are you
of the
going to introduce yourself, Mindy, or do I get to tell everybody?
Sure. I just want to answer a couple of the questions I saw in the chat. So as you see, my name is 𝗕𝗲𝗴𝗶𝗹𝗀, and I'm the consultant who is hired to 𝗘𝘀 2026 to help build the 𝗘𝘀 game plan, which is the Small Business Readiness Initiative. So just real quick, a couple of the questions in the chat. One was about selling banners, flags. All of those opportunities will be going out, if there is that opportunity, through an RFI, RFP. Last week, there were some RFI, RFPs posted on the website. I encourage all of you to check those out. The window for the food and beverage for FanFest has closed. That was open for 4 to 6 weeks, but it closed February 11th. So any of you who put in for that, you'll be hearing back in the next few weeks as they go through all of those that were submitted. I believe somebody asked a question about area for food truck. Some of that would have been in the RFI. As far as areas outside of FanFest, that is something that the city of Kansas City, Missouri is working on. To my knowledge, they do not have any specific areas designated at this time, but be sure to check the city of Kansas City, Missouri's website. Be sure to check the 𝗘𝘀 2026 website for those RFI, RFPs. If you would like to receive all those opportunities via email, there's a business interest form on the 𝗘𝘀 2026 website. Be sure to fill that out and you'll receive all those emails with all of those RFI, RFP opportunities. You will also receive all the emails with the invitations for all of the small business trainings that we have coming up between now and the end of April.
Thank you, Mindy.
Yes,
And
thank you.
Alex, thank you for posting the roundtable link in there. Could somebody post the game plan link again? I know we posted it at the beginning, but let's get that in there again as well. Thank you to Mindy and Tracy and Brianna, I think was here, to your team for so much that you do in Kansas City. Once this is over in 108 days, I'm going to book meetings with all of you to take a nap. I'm just going to block calendar time so you can take a nap. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And to all of the small businesses who came here today, you're coming up with a great opportunity to represent yourselves in our city. And as Tracy said, we're small businesses on the global stage and we have a big opportunity. So own the momentum and go forward and with your AI practices and represent well and have a great time. Thank you, everybody. Best wishes for all. Thank you to our panel, to Mindy and Alex and Kristina and Fiona.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone. Best wishes to you all. Thank you.